talking Pop Shop. Today's guest is the incredibly talented Meghan Ackerman from Bunny Lane Taxidermy. Meghan currently resides in Mississippi, and she's an unbelievable artist, and we are so lucky to have her as part of Pop Shop. Welcome, Meghan.
Thank you so much for having me, Hannah. I'm so excited, so excited. This will be my first New York show, and I can't wait to meet everyone and see all the things and show you guys the magical world of, I guess, my version of taxidermy.
Well, why don't you give everyone, who's watching tell us a little bit more about who you are and kind of, and what you do specifically, what kind of taxidermy you do.
So I made art all my life, and I was never able to really find a medium that suited me. Like, I did pottery and jewelry making and painting, and I was just, nothing really spoke to me. And then one day I went on a really bad date, and this guy was like, "Do you want to watch a movie?" And I was like, "Not really, but let's see what you have." And he had these how to do taxidermy videos. And I was just like, I want to watch this. And we watched how to skin and mount a squirrel. And I was thoroughly enthralled. And I called my friend who was a falconer, and I said, "Do you have any dead squirrels in your freezer that I could possibly try to mount?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Can I buy one?" And he said, "You can have one." So I gave it a go, and it was terrible. But I took it to another taxidermist. I said, "I have a background in sculpture and painting, and I'm a beauty school dropout 2 times. But I baked him a pecan pie, and I said, "Can you help me?" And he said, "Have a seat." So yeah, I never looked back. I've been practicing for 9 years, but I only do ethical taxidermy. I don't mount trophy mounts. So, when you see that sad little squirrel that's like not quite squished on the road, I'm the girl that jumps out of her truck, puts on my gloves, has a bag and a cooler in the back just for this occasion. And I scoop it up and I bring it home and I bring it back to life.
I think that you are, taking something that is sort of a natural part of life. All animals, they all die, including us. We're animals. We all die. But as you said, you think they're good omens. They have a mystical property to them. And I think there's a little bit of the animal soul still attached to them.
It's a strange process. So sometimes I'll get an animal on my table and I don't really have any ideas about what I want to do with it, but it might be something I found on the road, and it might have an injury to it, whether from, natural causes or natural causes upon death. And it kind of gives me something to work around. But usually the animal tells me what it wants to be.
I was just curious. I was wondering, are there a lot of women in the taxidermy field? Because, here we are in the city, it's not a lot of taxidermy, although maybe there is, but not to the level, I think, that you are creating these beautiful pieces of art. Are there a lot of women in the taxidermy field?
More and more so, but it is a traditionally male-dominated field. When I started years and years ago, I think I was one of 3 women in the South practicing taxidermy professionally. And now my mentor, David Elzie, the squirrel master, he makes all his own forms. You can find him in all the taxidermy catalogs, and I am so grateful for him. He has a female apprentice who will be taking over his business when he retires. And she's a very, very talented artist. But I do find, I host workshops twice a year at my property. 80% of my enrollment, I would say, is women. It seems like, because it is such an intuitive process, working with the animal and the sculpting, and it needs a feminine touch, I think, for different taxidermy. I mean, if you're going to mount deer all day long and do big trophy pieces, not that that's man's work or woman's work, or there is such a thing as a difference between the two, but I think women are really intuitive in the way that they work with their medium, and more women are getting into rogue taxidermy or different taxidermy, because a lot of sculptors, which is my background, are getting into taxidermy. It's not just someone who's like, "Oh, I'm a hunter, I like to kill deer and I've skinned everything." So yeah, I think it's more of an artistic approach, artistic and intuitive. And it's really refreshing to see these young girls come into my studio and say, "That's so cool. Can you teach me how to do that?" Or they call me and say, I'm having trouble with this. Can you help me? And I say, absolutely. Just come over and, bring your work. It's good to be in the girls club of the new taxidermist.
Yeah, absolutely. And having it evolve into something else. So maybe I don't know if you have any pieces that you've finished and you worked on or in progress even, but could you show us a few pieces?
These are my circus performers. This girl is currently in for a repair. She got knocked around a bit, but yeah. And these are not natural poses for squirrels. It's just something that I kind of thought of. I did a circus show.
Can't believe that those were found
Oop.
like roadkill animals and that they literally look like they're alive. I can't believe that.
Well, sometimes you'll find in my dressing of the animals, I'm really covering up something. I did a little Richard piece with a great cape, but he needed that cape. Here's some of my jackalopes that are in progress. This is the wall of jackalopes. This is the most adorable. So this guy, he was only a few hours old when he passed. And here's my hand for size. I mean, he's just a tiny, tiny little baby.
Meghan and I met many, many years ago in New Orleans, and she actually, I think you had just started, you said you wanted to start making jackalopes way years ago then. You sort of had kind of started to get into it a little bit. Yeah, and to see where you, from then, all these years later now, to what you're doing and really, to have a thriving business and, how do you stay motivated? How do you keep creating, even, especially given everything that's been going on? For the past few months with the pandemic and, all those kinds of crazy things that we've all been dealing with. How do you stay motivated?
I've had my moments. It's been difficult. And I did take a few weeks to work on my house, but it's kind of a situation where if I don't create and I don't produce things, I'm not well. Like, I just don't feel like myself. It's kind of how I ground myself. I can't imagine not making art in this world, although the current world has changed the way that I do make things. I kind of make things now with the intent of, instead of having a live show or doing an installation, it's more for the person, something I can ship using the United States Postal Service because they are phenomenal. And I use them for all my shipping, and everyone else should too, because that machine kills fascists. Our audience now is primarily Instagram and Facebook and our websites, if you have one of those. But the whole world has shifted. But I think that the artistic expression, it's just something that you can't stop.
That was kind of the reason, a lot of it behind, putting POPSHOP together. It was not only, I wanted to just collect, have this great sort of 2-day event where it's all these artists that I admire their work, and creators and designers and entrepreneurs, and, a focus on women and artists of color and just, all these great people that are just great souls, I think, to begin with. That's what I love the most about everyone and part of POPSHOP. But it was to sort of give people back an opportunity to interact with an audience, and to interact with attendees of the show, so they can touch and feel everything, and also get to meet with the artist, hear the stories behind their work. And then we're also going to be live streaming all of it. So it's people, if they don't feel comfortable coming, they can still have sort of a digital interaction with the artist and purchase things, from the Zoom that we're going to be doing these live streams. And I just wanted to try to figure out a way to sort of combine the best of both worlds. And I think so many people are going to have to start thinking outside of the box like that. What have been some sort of, like you sort of touched on a little bit, but what are some approaches to sort of marketing your business and changes you've had to make in your business just to survive at this point?
Well, right when COVID hit, I lost all of my shows. I usually do 9 to 10 traveling shows a year, which is probably 30% of my income. So that was a huge hit. I also show at a gallery in New Orleans and a shop in New Orleans. They carry different types of gallery. Does more large scale work like installation pieces such as the Carousel, Mortal Machine Gallery on Royal Street. Support them. Galleries need support, artists need support, and Miette on Magazine Street in New Orleans. But I just kind of, having those being shuttered and my shows being closed, I thought, okay, I have this great tool called social media, and I have an iPhone, and I can reach my audience in the only way that I know now how to safely. So I started doing studio sales, and I started marketing artwork that I knew that I could safely ship through the mail and get to people, and, you know, bring them happiness or bring them something to look forward to, like, you know.
Meghan and I have traded. We're both fans of each other's art. So, you know, and that was the thing. When the jackalope came, I had totally exactly the same. I had the tracking number, and it was delivered. And I said to my husband, it came on I think on a Saturday. And I said to my husband, I'm like, go downstairs. It's the jackalope. You have to go get it. Please, please. It's my baby. It's my new baby. Bring it up. And yes, and it was very exciting. And I couldn't believe it was perfect. It was in perfect condition. Not even mine is covered. The back of it is moss. It's amazing. Not even a speck of moss in the packaging at all. I mean, it was so perfectly wrapped, and I love my jackalope very, very much.
No, it truly is. In fact, I make my own molds, which is total, can I swear?
Yeah.
Fuckery. So I make these fiberglass molds. They're so fun. Yeah. And I pour foam into them, and I make them individual for all my animals. But yeah, inside this monstrosity is a rabbit form. It's crazy. And I do all my own fleshing and skinning, and yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's what I love. But yeah, it's a whole process.
I mean, it's not just a lot of work. I mean, you were literally engineering this from the ground up. You were literally like an architect, engineer, and artist, kind of all in one.
Yeah, a little bunny form. And so from here, I get my hide, and then I'll mount the rabbit. And then this is a rabbit that is in the drying process. Actually, let's look at both of them. They're so cute when they're together. And these are mounted and pinned in place. And my next step is what we do is we start removing the pins. Little jackalope.
Aren't they amazing? I literally cannot wait to POPSHOP. We have this amazing space on Vanderbilt Avenue in Brooklyn, and just to see rows of jackalopes hanging alongside all the other art, I think it's going to be spectacular, and I think it's going to be something that the people of Brooklyn and New York and beyond have not been exposed to. And I'm so honored and so thrilled that after all these years we can work together again, and that we're going to have you as part of POPSHOP. I can't wait, Meghan. I really, really can't wait. It's really good.
I can't either. And it's so cool because I've known you so long, watching your art evolve as well as my art evolve, like how we've grown and changed, and we're still, you know, connected, and we still have this creative drive that's just like.
Just tell people where, you know, how they can follow you on social media and your website and everything, just so in case they want to get some more previews before POPSHOP in November.
All right, I'm very active on my Instagram account, which is at Bunny, BUNNY _ Lane, LANE _. I'm also active on my Facebook, which is Bunny Lane Taxidermy.
Thank you so much, Meghan, for being a part of POPSHOP, bringing your whimsy and your joy and your beautiful taxidermy creations. I cannot wait to see more of your art, and I'll see you in November.
I can't wait to see you in November. Thank you, Hannah.